Good evening. You'll have to excuse how probably shitty this video will be in terms of like my voice and my clarity. I'm currently feeling atrocious, really bad, and I just shed a tear actually. Not like crying, but just a tear swelled and dripped out. Yeah, I'm literally feeling very good to within 5 minutes feeling like a physical sensation of like terribleness, and then I just lay on my bed and like curled up into the fetal position a bit, and yeah, so this French guy, Gautier, he's been sleeping, having sex with this Brazilian girl, woman. Okay, so that got interrupted by the police. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute, but that was a copper. Yeah, so he's been sleeping with this Brazilian, and then he said, oh yeah, Haley and Ash have been having sex, and they're just loud, and it's just disrespectful. And I was going to say straight away, I was like, no, they're not. I've asked her, we've spoken multiple times. She said, a couple of months ago, she was saying how she's so creeped out by him because he like follows her about, and he follows her about, and he like stalks her, and he's just fucking weird. And eventually he confessed that he likes her, and she just like rejected him, said it's not, it's got to be two-way, I don't fancy you. And then multiple times I like jokingly said like, you're not fucking him, like you spend so much time with him. And she said to me like, because other people have said that to me, like just talking about it, like, have you seen those? And she says no, she said no, honestly, we just got the same sense of humour, but I'm not physically attracted to him at all. And yeah, and then Gautier like kind of pushed away my notion of they're not fucking by saying like, no, Haley's come into my room like at 4 a.m. 2 weeks ago, 2 nights on the trot, and I've heard them like having sex. And Renata's complained like sometimes it's like every day that they're having sex, and she can just hear them, and it's just disrespectful. And I was just like talking along and saying like, oh yeah, that's bad and disrespectful, and talking about it and expanding on it, but inside I just felt shit. It's not that I fancy her and I really like her, and but she's not that physically attractive. I would never be in a relationship with her. It's just like another pummeling in that like I will never, like, it just feels like I won't have sex, like sex doesn't happen to me. Like that thing I had with my ex-girlfriend, it's like, well, she now does questionable things. And when I lost my virginity to her, that was after a 5-month dry spell, on her part. So she was just horny as fuck, and she's potentially got she's potentially got a history. So it's just like, well, she would have fucked. So like my belief is that, well, she would have fucked pretty much anyone, and it just happened to be me. And then now it's been I don't know, 14 to 16 months since I've been intimate with a girl, and then that girl was, I guess, very insecure because she wouldn't let me touch her in that place. So that made me feel even more insecure. And then hearing this, like the last few days, Haley's been like a bit more physical, like touchy to me, and I thought like, oh well, I don't really fancy it, but could do with sex, I guess. That's what it felt like, my dick speaking, and also my craving for intimacy, I guess. And then she's been like quite forward, more touchy-feely toward me. And then I realise I get told she's been fucking Ash for... That might be why she's more touchy-feely. She's just like in better spirits. I don't know, it just like reaffirmed, like, you know, I guess the way I've interpreted it is like, she said Ash is just like so physically unattractive, and she talks to me about like how he's creepy and stuff, and then she ends up fucking him, and then I've asked her, I've told her I'd like casual sex with you, and she laughed, thought it was a joke. Told her again, she laughed, thought it was a joke. Told her again, and then she said, no, if you're being serious, then no, I don't want that. And then I asked her, like, have you ever sort of seen me that way? Have you ever seen me in a sexual way? She says, no, I've never thought about you sexually. And I was like, okay, but then now I'm just like, you know what I mean? And it's not even just sex, because, I mean, if I went to a nightclub, got really drunk with a girl, had sex, I mean, to me it'd probably mean nothing. Potentially, it might mean something, but I know intellectually it'd mean very little. What would mean something is like, if I got to know somebody, they'd get to know me. It's like my belief system is that if they actually got to know me, then they wouldn't want to have sex with me, that they wouldn't want to be intimate with me. That maybe physically, maybe some girls might go, oh yeah, he's attractive, but it's like, if they get to know me, it's like I've got a belief system of like, once they get to know me, there's no chance for intimacy, because my person isn't intimate, does not, you know, exercise intimacy, does not mean, you know, does not get intimacy. So I guess I'm going to bring it up. I'm just going to like jokingly say, oh, cat's out of the bag, eh? Or something like that. And she's going to be like, what do you mean? And then I'll be like, you know, jokingly pretending that it hasn't affected me, to appear strong. But yeah, that's the most, like, the wave of like sadness, the wave of fucking pain that those statements he made inflicted upon me. Just like, oh yeah, she's having sex with Ash so much. I just can never envision myself like having sex, or being intimate, or be just receiving intimate, like being consoled, being comforted, like genuinely, and you know, Jesus, I'm getting physical fucking goosebump shit. Yeah, something I'll eventually go to like counselling for again, but I just don't want that bullshit counselling of like affirmations I had last time, like, I am lovable, you know, which was last time I had counselling. Affirmations, questioning negative thoughts, I don't like that shit. Okay, that's that. Okay, copper. So I saw in Woolworths car park, I saw like this vehicle, a guy screaming, shouting his ass off inside the car. I saw his shadowy movements. I think he was like grabbing her, shouting his ass off, and then he got out of the car, still fucking yelling at her. I guess it was a her. I think it was his girlfriend. I think he said something that made me understand that it was his girlfriend. Went around the back of the car, got the number plate, called the non-emergency police. They took my details and put me through to the emergency police. They took more of my details, and I described everything, etc. And then yeah, they just called me back, asking if I'm still on the scene, and asked me to describe the guy, and I couldn't because I didn't catch a glimpse of him. And that was that. That's the first time I've called the police. That's it. Yeah, I'm just gonna eat and just chill out for the night. Try not to get too frustrated at this, and try not to think about it too much. But yeah, it's quite telling, because if people can insult me or people can take the piss at me or whatever, it doesn't affect me. But something like this, where I've come close to a girl, but she has no sexual, romantic feelings toward me, and then she goes after somebody who she's told me she's not attracted to at all, and she fucks him, I'm just like, I guess I just think, what does that say about me? And I guess I still derive my sense of worth on these things. And I guess I was thinking today as well, like, I don't want to be surrounded by loads of girls, because I know that I'll just be overwhelmed, and I'll just be like trying to fuck one of them, or trying to be intimate with one of them, or multiple of them, or whatever. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'll just do a quick update on, it's like an hour later, I guess. I feel better, I feel okay. I went and spoke to Nico, because I was feeling, bad. And I explained it all, and he said, like, well, yeah, this guy, Ash has been trying to fuck her for like 4 months, and he's just persisted and persisted and persisted. And he was saying, like, yeah, and it is true, like, every day he's always around her. Whenever she wants to go anywhere or do anything, he's like there with her. He cooks for her. She literally says, like, oh, will you make me tea? And she won't say please, or or anything, and he'll do it. And finally he's gotten sex as like a reward, basically, like being a good boy. And me, I asked her straight to her face once, and she said no. I mean, who would say yes in that instance? Really, what girl would say, oh yes, that sounds like a good idea, let's have sex? So yeah, that just made me feel a bit better, because he spoke rationally, and I was obviously just in an emotional flurry, whirlwind, and I knew I wasn't wallowing, I wasn't self-wallowing, I didn't allow myself to wallow and pity myself. I was sort of analytic toward myself, and just like, this is interesting, how I went from that state of like pretty good, to just shite like that. So yeah, I spoke to somebody about it. I feel better now. I know I've still got that insecurity and everything, obviously, but it's just been helpful to talk about it and understand it a bit more.